This show is an early release of a more complex and more complete work. It is the presentation of a theory whose sole evidence derives from photographic material found in popular media. The main source is the photography of bodies in our solar system and some stills from Stanley Kubrick's epic film 2001, A Space Odyssey. There are 3 points that I wish to cover in this presentation. The first and longest. Our entire solar system was seeded at some time in the past. The spores start off as microscopic life forms that take whatever energy and elements are available and use them to grow and reproduce more spores. Their form is simple and unchanging. The spore is an exact simulacrum of the full-grown seed or pod. In time, they cover the surface of the body they've landed on, producing oceans of spores that can have the appearance of sandy deserts here on Earth. This unchanging pod entity can operate across vast epochs of time and distances in space. The growing pods grow up in heaps that resemble, ultimately, geological features here on Earth. They will grow at a rate dependent on the environment they find themselves in. They metabolize and release gases. My guess is that they mainly produce carbon dioxide and methane, and perhaps water vapour. I am guessing that they also excrete oxygen if water is present in their environment. In short, they are a kind of self-propagating, terraforming, or better, bioforming agent. It seems they may provide the kickstart for more advanced life forms to appear and evolve. As life diversifies, the pods become superseded. Evidence of them still exists amidst our most ancient life-bearing rocks. Secondly, this has been known here on Earth for some time, but is being kept a secret from most of us. Well, I wonder why, just in case we all stop getting up in the morning and plodding off to work, and generally start refusing to do what we are told. And the last point, I finally understand what Stanley Kubrick was trying to tell us in 2001, A Space Odyssey. To help show you what I am seeing, I am starting off with a couple of drawings, followed by the photographic material that they are based on. Once you can see what I am seeing, you can go off and evaluate my findings and theories for yourself. This is the story at the very beginning. Who can say where it will end? These are the maturing pods. Gleaming white, piling up in huge gleaming reflective masses. The black patch on their surface creating a characteristic speckled pattern when they are viewed from a distance. The tiny spores, as a mass on the surface, take on a darker appearance because of the black patch they all carry. High-rise images from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter show massive gleaming oceans of pods. The pod mountains form a bit of a crust. They open circular vents where gases pour out. The mountains of pods can split open, creating the appearance of ancient river valleys. This drawing shows a mountain of pods viewed from above. A circular vent has opened. Gases are escaping and cooling or freezing as they flow away from the warmer biomass below. And now NASA's actual photograph. NASA interprets this as the caldera of an extinct volcano that was last active 55 million years ago. If we strip away the bright colour, NASA's version seems very misleading. I have used brightness, contrast and a simple sharpening tool to look into that caldera. This is nothing like any extinct volcano we are familiar with. It contains pods, and there seems to be the emission of vapours. Now we are looking at a crater viewed from orbit. There are pods to be seen inside the crater and scattered around. This is a moon crater, and the photos are from an early Apollo mission. In my next show I will give examples of pods on Earth, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Vesta, Phobos, and even the comet explored in the Rosetta mission. Basically, everywhere there is a photograph of an asteroid, comet, moon, or planet, there are pods to be seen. Now we are on the surface of the moon. This is the Apollo 15 mission. Moon dust is supposed to be a fine, sharp, dry powder that has rained down on the surface for billions of years. So please look hard. Notice the white material revealed in the footprints. Notice the white pods picked up on the tyres of the rover, just like images of the wheels of the Curiosity rover on Mars. Really look hard at the surface. Not fine sharp dust, but spores sitting atop pods. Back on Earth. This is a studio set for the Dawn of Man sequence in Stanley Kubrick's epic film 2001, A Space Odyssey. A story about origins. Stanley Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke are symbolising the beginnings of our species. Movement forward is mystically prompted by a higher order of beings. Look carefully at this set. The thick atmosphere, the strange look and feel of it all. There are pods on the set. The rear screen itself may consist entirely of pods. Stanley Kubrick worked with United States space agencies in the making of this epic. So in 1965, years before Apollo 11, a select group of people were nursing the greatest revelation of our age and keeping it a clever, sleazy little secret. Stanley Kubrick, as we will see in a minute, was actually telling us everything he knew. Amidst the symbolism was the simple actuality. Now, I don't want to confuse things too much. I trust that if you got this far, you like a good plot. You have an inner detective. This is an image from Apollo 15. It really does look like one of Stanley Kubrick's studio sets at Boreham Wood. NASA released this image as an image from a moon mission. I don't know. You decide. The lights and reflections are certainly baffling. Have a look at the boundary between distant hills and sky. Anyway, I want to look at the ground, and to look at that hole the astronaut has presumably been digging. Here is a well-lit moon rock. Sharpen the image and hey presto, just like Mars. Remember to crank up the brightness and pink in the shadows. Sometimes shadows hold more truth than the appearance of daylight. Remember, the powerful reject nuance and fear the dissolution of their simple-to-understand lies in the rich and creative brew of ambiguity and ambivalence. Long live the artists! Truth glitters for a moment in time like a snowflake. It does not need a hammer blow or a bullet. Only lies need violence. We're drawing to a close of this video hypothesis. And back on the set of The Dawn of Man. These are screenshots from a YouTube clip taken from the film 2001: The Space Odyssey. I've put this here because I want you to look for the pods, big and small, but also I want to add to the eternal speculations on what that film was all about. There's no question it is a work of cinematic genius. But do you remember watching it and feeling uncomfortable? It was very slow. It seemed to want to say something, but it kept us waiting. The cosmic bit was, in the context of the psychedelic era, a bit disappointing. We remember Hal. We remember paranoia. Lots of people died in cryogenic pods, but we did not know them. Mostly, there was a lot of white and black in glorious technicolor. Extravehicular activities, or EVAs, took place in a pod. Here is a pod. Look familiar? Here is humanity emerging from its cosmic origin. I hope you found this thought-provoking. There is so much more to explore and to show and to tell. There is a subtext here too about conspiracy. A web of complex disinformation is being woven to protect a venal little lie against a simple, beautiful and terrifying truth. I leave you with a sunset from the dawn of human time as the last light of day colours an ancient savannah which has been tastefully laced with pods.